Going to court is nothing but a stressful situation, and sometimes that's when our minds begin to unravel the most. Whether it was from the stand or at the bench, here are some of the most shocking courtroom outbursts. Michael Marin. This isn't so much a verbal outburst, but more like a escape from punishment sort of outburst with death. Michael Marin was a convicted arsonist who didn't want to deal with his sentence for a crime he committed in 2009. In 2012, while he was waiting for the jury to release his verdict, Marin took a cyanide pill and waited patiently behind the table for the poison to take effect. He eventually slumped over in his chair and was taken to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Dexter Johnson. Dexter Johnson was 19 years old when he committed the heinous act of rape and murder. In June of 2007, the Houston teen was tried and convicted of capital murder and was sentenced to the death penalty. While the sentence was being read, Johnson knocked over chairs and was apprehended by police officers while his family screamed and wailed loudly. One family member even passed out and an ambulance had to be called. Victoria Gotti. The trial of John A. Jr. Gotti was already having some drama when the judge had to dismiss juror number 7 and juror number 11 because they were fighting. His mother, Victoria Gotti, who was known to be a mob wife, decided then was a good time to lash out at Judge Kevin Castile, saying things like, "Effing animals, they're railroading you, they're doing to you what they did to your father." Junior tried to calm down his mother, saying that he was fine, but she continued to the point where her other children had to escort her out of the courtroom. Michael Gaines. In July of 2008, Michael Gaines was in court after he assaulted a police officer. He decided to let it all go and let his arresting officer and judge just have it and gave them a tongue lashing that became nearly legendary. The censoring bleep clearly got a great workout during this time. The judge wasn't amused and ended up sentencing Gaines 13 years in prison. Charles Manson. It's probably not a huge shock to see Charles Manson on this list. In fact, during the Manson family trial, there were numerous interruptions by members of the family. Charles had even carved an X into his forehead, and over the course of the 22-week trial, it slowly changed into a swastika. Manson started asking the judge if he could ask a question, and then accused the judge of trying to kill him in the courtroom. After Manson and the judge exchanged words, Manson leapt across the table and then tried to kill the judge while he was being restrained. Jason Dalton. Jason Dalton was trying to play the insanity plea after he went on a shooting spree in February of 2016 while driving for Uber. While eyewitness Tiana Carruthers was testifying, Dalton absolutely lost his marbles and started shouting about old people with black bags and someone needing to go to temple. Carruthers started to cry and the judge ordered a recess. When law enforcement officials tried to escort Dalton out of the courtroom, he went limp instead of walking. Michelle Blair. In July of 2015, Michelle Blair was sentenced to life in prison without parole after she was found guilty of killing 2 of her children. The bodies of 13-year-old Stoney Ann Blair and 9-year-old Stephen Gage Berry were found in the freezer during an eviction, and Mitchell Blair was quickly charged. She might have actually gotten away with it if she hadn't snapped while her 8-year-old was testifying that he saw his mother kill his siblings when Mitchell interrupted and said, "Everybody wants to know. Yes, I did kill her." Marianne Bachmeier. Marianne Bachmeier is a prime example of taking justice into your own hands. Her 7-year-old daughter Anna was kidnapped, raped, and murdered by a sex offender by the name of Klaus Grabowski, who then buried Anna in a shallow grave. On the 3rd day of Grabowski's trial at the District Court of Lübeck in 1981, Marianne managed to smuggle in a Beretta M1934 and used it to shoot Grabowski in the back and killed him instantly. She was initially charged with murder, but then the charge was reduced to manslaughter and unlawful possession of a firearm. She only served 3 years in prison. T.J. Lane. When T.J. Lane was 17, he embarked on a murderous rampage where he killed 3 high school students and injured 3 others. In 2014, he was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. During his sentencing, the families of the victims had the chance to address Lane, who showed no remorse. He unbuttoned his shirt to reveal a white shirt that said "killer" on it and rocked back and forth as the family members talked. When given a chance to respond, Lane said, "This hand that pulled the trigger that killed your sons now masturbates to the memory. F all of you." Because he was underage when he committed the crime, he couldn't receive the death penalty. Van Terry. Michael Madison brutally murdered the daughter of Van Terry along with 2 other women. Madison was found guilty, and in June of 2016, during his sentencing, Terry stood at the podium to give a statement. Things were going okay, as Terry was tearfully giving his statement about how the loss of his daughter had affected him and his family. But when Terry looked back at Madison, he was filled with rage as his daughter's murderer had a smile on his face. Terry lost control and lunged at Madison, who was shielded by law enforcement and others restrained him. All the while, Madison just kept his smirk. Madison ended up getting the death penalty. Thanks for watching this video, folks. While you're here, now that it's over, why don't you comment? Let us know what you thought, and maybe check out these other videos. And subscribe to The Richest for more awesome content all the time. Thanks.